today's Keeping It Real, Cam Marston is having a tough day and shares his recipe for how he gets through them.
My 18-year-old son is headed to Tuscaloosa next week for his Bama Bound orientation. My wife and I are going too. I'm wondering why the parents need a college orientation, so I'm tagging along. It's about a day and a half worth of stuff. As a student, my Tulane orientation was this: "Don't mess with the New Orleans Police Department during Mardi Gras," some guy said from the stage, "or you'll likely never be heard from again. Good luck at college. Don't forget to study." Thursday, my oldest daughter left for a month abroad as a part of her college studies. We dropped my youngest daughter off at Camp Mac near Talladega this week, where she's now a worker. She's a counselor in training. We are paying for her to be there to work, by the way. She and her twin brother turned 16 on Tuesday. Long ago, in a moment of parenting bravado, my wife and I promised our 4 kids we'd help them buy a used car when they turned 16. But they'd have to save a good bit of it on their own, and we'd be a multiplier for whatever they saved. Today, we are on the hook for 2 cars. Suffice it to say, it's quite expensive around here right now. I knew these days were coming, and they're here. However, there are moments of doubt when I wonder how this is all going to work, how it's all going to get paid for, and I get, well, a bit anxious. And I'm certain there's no parent that hasn't experienced something similar. Regardless of the size of the family or the size of the income, parents wonder how they'll make ends meet. My father sure did. He'd walk through the back door of the house at the end of his workday, and we'd ask how his day was. He'd say, "Slow," with an uncertain look on his face. Standing in front of him was my mother, my 2 young brothers, and me. Mouths to feed, clothes to buy, college tuitions. And I had one of those moments this week. In times past, those moments immobilized me. But trial and error has taught me a recipe for getting through them. The key is to recognize what's happening and get started on the recipe. First, I remind myself that I have a perfect record for getting through difficult days. I've had many before, and yet here I am, 100% perfect record. 2, I need to get outside. Something about being outside, I can't explain it. 3, I need to do some exercise, any exercise, get the blood pumping, and at this point, I usually feel the stress dissipating. 4, have a good conversation with someone, anyone. It gets the focus off of me and gets me out of my head. And 5, reread the good books and re-listen to the good stories. I just jump in and out of the books and stories randomly to remind myself of the messages. And I did all of this, every bit of it earlier this week, and it worked. It usually does. I love my recipe. I hate that I have to use it. But I gotta be honest, thank goodness it's there. I'm Cam Marston, and I'm just trying to keep it real.
To hear more commentaries, search for Keeping It Real with Cam Marston on your favorite podcast app, or follow Cam Marston on social media.